Hey everyone, and welcome to our Q&A presented by Just Love. My name is Paula Jane, and I'm talking to Judy Carroll. Judy is an internationally known author. Her books include The Zeta Message, Human by Day, Zeta by Night, Extraterrestrial Presence on Earth, Lessons in History, and her two most recent books, both of them Kindle editions, and also both available now in German, An Interview with an Alien, Comments by an Undercover ET, and Cosmic Spirituality, Blending Religion and Science in Oneness from an Off-Planet Perspective. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Paula. Hi, everyone.
Well, today we want to talk about a comment which is to do with the book Symmetry by Preston Dennett. Judy, you read this book and resonated with most of it.
Oh, yes, Paula, it's a great book, providing a very accurate description of the Greys and the relationship that Dolly Safran, the woman whose story is told, has with them. They're a different group from the ones I work with, being based in the Orion star system, but their agenda is the same, to try to assist Earth-plane humanity through our planetary shift. There are also lots of laughs in the book because they have the same rather twisted sense of humour that our lot have.
So there is something in the book that Dolly was shown that I feel we might need to highlight and discuss because it draws attention to the fact that there are many different timelines constantly at play. Dolly said that she was shown that there is only going to be another 2 or 3 years before planet Earth begins to fry.
Yes, I know Dolly was shown this future for Earth, as have others. But what we need to remember is the fact that we create our own reality on a daily basis through our thought patterns and how our mind focuses. I personally don't choose or focus on this as my future. I can see many positive changes happening that may very well assist us to avoid such a fate. The future cannot be predicted accurately because there are always a variety of different timelines being created all the time. My feeling is that if we can direct our thoughts towards a more positive outcome, then that is the timeline that we'll create for ourselves.
So focus on what you ultimately want, not what you don't want.
Exactly. The big problem with us humans is that so many do seem to thrive on drama and fear. I see this all the time in the media, blowing everything up way out of proportion just for the sake of drama. They do this because they know that it sells books and draws people into tuning into certain TV shows and checking out information posted online. Reality TV, which is so popular now, is full of faked and trumped-up drama and emotion, specifically designed to suck in viewers, which it does big time. Also, all the sensationalised and fear-mongering rubbish that's constantly put out on UFOs and ET contact. It's yet another example. Just so much dramatising, lies and disinformation.
Yes, and this has always been the case. There's always been disinformation and fake news being put out on our planet. But luckily, many more of us are seeing this so much clearer now.
Yes, at the moment I'm reading a book that's a real eye-opener. It's entitled The Rendlesham Enigma, written by Jim Pennistone and Gary Osborn, on the well-known Rendlesham Forest sighting near the Bentwaters and Woodbridge RAF airfield near the town of Ipswich in England. This is where a number of military personnel witnessed a seemingly off-planet ship land. A very well-known ET and UFO researcher, who I won't name, approached Jim Pennistone, who was one of the main witnesses, asking him to co-author a book with her. Not this Rendlesham Enigma book, it's another one. He gave in to her, but was disgusted by the pressure and control this woman put on him, and how she totally twisted his account to fit in with her own agenda. Unfortunately, this is a common story in the field of UFO and ET contact research.
Very interesting, and a timely reminder on how to navigate all the various bits and pieces of information that we have access to. Judy's tall grade teacher Maris always tells us to feel into the words that you are reading, sense into the feeling behind them.
Yes, that's for sure. I remember right back in the 1980s and 90s, all the predictions that the world was going to end in 1999 or 2000. Then when that didn't happen, 2012 was going to be the end. Hello folks, 222 and we're still here. I'd advise people to make a habit of noting down these predictions and dates and then check them out every few years. That way you'll come to realise how wrong most of them are. You'll wake up to the fact that so much information is really disinformation. Once I started waking up to this, I asked Maris how to gauge which is which, and this was his reply: don't just listen to or read the words, feel into the energy behind the words. Learn to sense into the underlying energy. That was really good advice.
Yes, and at this most important time on our planet, a lot of people are moving through 4D. And Judy, you have highlighted that this is a testing ground. We are literally moving through the fear barrier, and it can be confusing.
It sure can. Moving through 4D is a major test for humanity. The two biggest blocks on our evolutionary path are fear and ego. Religion on Earth has played a prominent role in encouraging both. Up until the second half of the 20th century, religion was really the only source available and acceptable for people to acknowledge anything beyond 3D. Women tend to be more sensitive and open to the finer energies, hence the majority of churchgoers have been females. But because of the imbalanced patriarchal nature of Earth plane society, males have always run the show. The planetary controllers were therefore more able to pull the strings from behind the scene, encouraging the fear and ego side of religion to enable them to maintain their control. In the second half of the 20th century, people began waking up and rejecting the overly patriarchal fear-mongering and egotistical control of the mainstream religions. This is when the so-called New Age belief system began emerging, along with a deeper recognition of the fact that we are way more than just a 3D physical body. This was a major step forward, but between the drug culture of the 1960s, cunningly introduced by the controllers to disrupt the process, along with certain technology introduced that enables seemingly channeled messages to be inserted into the minds of psychics by a controller source right here on Earth, the New Age belief system has become yet another major test in fear and ego.
Can you give us an example of this?
Yes, Paula, I can. A very good example is Reiki, the field in which I work. Since Reiki was introduced to the West from Japan in the late 1930s, this beautiful pure energy system has been badly messed with by ego-oriented titles such as Master and even Grandmaster being introduced, along with disgustingly high prices for classes. I know of at least one Reiki organisation that charges over $10,000 to teach their so-called master level. In fact, I think it's up to $15,000 now. This is so very wrong. Another handy money spinner has been the introduction of new symbols that promise to enhance the practice of Reiki, but have only served to muddy the waters, as some of them are not of a higher energy frequency, but still cost a lot of money to learn. So much of Reiki was lost when it was brought to the West, but unfortunately in some instances the missing parts have been replaced with lower energy practices. In this way, a lot of so-called Reiki that is being currently taught is not genuine.
So I know what you're saying. There is so much trickery and deception going on that we really need to be going within rather than just looking to the outside.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's just astounding how easily people get sucked into all of this. So many get fooled with the outer show and deception. They just cannot seem to be able to sense into the deeper energies.
Yeah, and an example of this recently is the celebrations in the UK with the Queen's Platinum Jubilee and how a hologram of a much younger version of the Queen appeared in a carriage. Yes, this was exciting and entertaining for the onlookers, but at the same time it highlights that there is this technology out there. Yes, we are aware of it and it is being used positively and for entertainment purposes, but it is also being used negatively and is part of all the trickery.
Definitely. Holographic trickery is being used regularly by the controllers in the so-called alien abduction staged through the MyLab program, military abduction program. An example was described in author hypnotist Bud Hopkins' book, Witnessed, which involved people driving past an apartment block and seeing the holographic imagery of a woman being floated out of a window by greys and taken up onto a ship. Such a blatant display would not occur if this was genuine contact. It was staged so it would be witnessed. Faked holographic imagery is also used to fool people into believing that certain highly respected prominent people are involved in the negative underground activities being carried out by the controllers.
Yes, so with this in mind, we do need to be very careful of what we link into as truth. An awful lot of disinformation and fake news is being put out there to cause maximum fear and confusion, that's for sure. So if you want to read more about all of this, I'd just like to remind everybody Judy's books are available from Amazon, or you can go directly through Judy's website, which is included in the link below. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends and family and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, sending you all much love, and thank you all so much for listening. Bye for now.